The wildcard round is all wrapped up, and I went 4-2 on my predictions. Not bad. Without further ado, let's just get right onto my divisional round predictions. And we'll be starting off on Saturday afternoon with the Texans at the Chiefs. And the Texans proved everyone wrong, including me. They came to play against the Chargers, and outside of Lad McConkey, the Chargers definitely did not come to play. As for the Chiefs, they're coming off their bye, and while I get that everyone hates the Chiefs and they're tired of them winning all the time, I feel like what gets lost in all the Chiefs hate is the fact that this is still a good football team we're talking about. I don't think they're 15-2 good, but they're still one of the best teams in the league, and I feel like no one really gives them credit because they're just sick of them. They've certainly gotten lucky a lot this year, but this is a team that knows what they're doing when the postseason comes around. Huge props to the Texans for winning a playoff game when everyone was counting them out and calling them a free win, but I do think the road ends here for them. I think the Chiefs are going to take this one 26-20. Then on Saturday night, we've got a good one, the Commanders at the Lions. And these are both teams that are easy to root for. Obviously, I'm sure just about everybody wants to see the Lions make their first Super Bowl. And while it's a little different with Washington because they've won Super Bowls before, they've just been so bad for so long that I want to see them succeed. Now, I was a little bit off thinking the Bucs-Commanders game would be a shootout, but I really have a hard time seeing this one not be a shootout. Or at least a bit higher scoring than the Bucs-Commanders game. However, with some of the Lions' defenders coming back from injury in recent weeks, along with that dominant performance against the Vikings in Week 18, I think the Lions get it done here. Hot take, I know. I expect Washington to put up a good fight, but I think the Lions will take it 31-24. And now on Sunday afternoon, we got the Rams at the Eagles. And the Eagles won ugly against Green Bay, but it's important to remember that that's a very good Packers defense they were playing against, and a very good Packers offense that they held to just 10 points, albeit a very injured Packers offense. But hey, a win is a win, especially in the playoffs. As for the Rams, where do I even start with them? All the shit I've talked about the Rams was not proven wrong on Monday, it was proven right. All the same stuff I've been saying about the Rams all season happened in this game once again. The Rams did next to nothing of note and just sat there while their opponent completely shit all over themselves and handed them yet another win they did nothing to earn. Like I've said all season long, the Rams benefited from countless lucky factors out of their control just happening to bounce their way. The jump on 4th and 1 giving them a touchdown they didn't deserve. Kyron Williams' terrible fumble somehow taking a perfect lucky bounce directly into Puka Nakua's arms. Sam Darnold throwing a terrible pass to a covered receiver that I could have intercepted, on a play where the Rams probably should have been penalized for tripping Justin Jefferson, but I digress. And of course there was a stupid forward pass ruling that negated a Vikings defensive touchdown. Which, yes, I know was the correct call, but just like how the tuck rule was the correct call, it's a stupid rule that shouldn't be in the game in the first place. That was just such a bailout, and teams should not be rewarded for that. And of course, now delusional Rams fans are going to be even more insufferable pretending their pathetic team isn't fraudulent, because they happened to luck their way into a win against a team that was completely self-destructing. Let's be clear. The Vikings beat the Vikings, not the Rams. I don't know what it is about this channel, but it's really turned me into a D1 hater. Anyways, with that rant over, I'm sure you can guess who I think's gonna win this game. I think Philly takes this one 27-20, and in all honesty, I'd be pretty surprised if it's even that close. And finally, we got the Ravens at the Bills. And of course, the best game of the divisional round is the one I'm gonna miss while I'm at work. There's a lot of narrative surrounding this game. Can Josh Allen finally not be let down by his teammates in the playoffs? Can Lamar Jackson finally prove he's not a playoff choker? Even aside from the quarterbacks, these have been two of the best teams in the AFC in the last couple of years, and yet neither of them has made a Super Bowl. This is a high-stakes game, and one of the biggest games of the year, in my opinion. An interesting thing to consider is that even though the Bills' defense is 11th in points allowed per game, they're 18th in points allowed per drive, and a putrid 26th in yards allowed per drive. Now those numbers are almost certainly skewed by the Lions and Rams games, but if you're allowing performances like that, especially against a mediocre team like the Rams, you've got problems. However, it's also important to note that the Bills beat the number 1 seeds in both conferences, the Chiefs and the Lions. As for the Ravens, they're a lot more well-rounded. Their defense has come back into form after looking shaky earlier in the year, but I just don't trust them in the playoffs. And another important thing to consider is that although the Ravens' defense is very good overall, they're dominant against the run, but a little bit suspect against the pass. Some of that might just be because teams don't run the ball a lot against Baltimore because it doesn't go well for them. But at the same time, their passing defense is still a question mark. I'm really on the fence about this game, but ultimately I'm gonna go with Buffalo here. I think Josh Allen leads the Bills to a thrilling 31-28 win over Baltimore. And there's my picks. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe.